Yeah. You watch another classic episode of the Miller Experience. I want to thank you guys for liking and subscribing to the channel. Currently, we have 1,152 subscribers. Keep
Ooh.
liking, guys. Keep subscribing. Keep commenting. It's all love. You know, whether it's good or bad, we still love you. You know how it goes. Hey, guys, today we have a very special guest. Welcome back to the powerful episode of Miller Experience, where we have real conversation, meet real people making real moves. Today, we're honored to be joined by a true force in the entertainment world and an award-winning world pop artist, actress, and global performer who's lighting up the stage, scream with her voice, her vision, and her fire. She's dynamic, talented, with roots that span cultures and a message that resonates worldwide. Whether she's commanding in a crowd through her music, captivating audience on the scene, she brings passion, power, and purpose to everything she does. Family, the Mill Experience family, help me welcome the one and only Miss Farah Mitha, aka Firefly. Firefly, what's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up? That was quite the intro. Thank you. I'll just correct you a little bit quickly. My name is pronounced Farah
Farah, I'm
Mitha.
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
but
My
you
bad.
can
I'm
call me
sorry.
Firefly. It's all good. That's why
All right.
Firefly is just nice and easy, and it represents the light in all of us. So,
Right.
Yeah, it's
but
crazy.
yeah, thank you for that intro.
If we were to talk about all her accolades, we'd be here all day.
Right.
I've had some. I've been lucky to have some great milestones over a long career, and I'm nowhere close to done. So
Right.
thank you for celebrating them with me.
Indeed.
All right. Firefly, for those who may not know, who is Firefly in your own words?
Okay, so I had many musical influences. So my background is all it comes from so many different places. Like I grew up in Canada. Um, I'm Muslim, so there was a lot of Islamic influence. And then my parents and my whole family were born and raised in East Africa in Kenya, but my background is Indian. Um, I'm pretty sure in a past lifetime I was Caribbean. So
You
my
just a
influence
boiling
is
pot.
just yeah, I'm just like
Yeah.
a melting pot of like so many different cultures and influences.
Right.
And so my influences really ranged from Michael Jackson for sure was a huge one from a music perspective, but also from like a purpose mission perspective. Sean Paul, Alicia Keys, Whitney Houston, Tony Braxton, Alanis Morissette. Um, I listened to Guns N' Roses, and so, like,
Those are
it
powerful.
actually was really hard for me to pick a lane because I loved the, like, rock pop as much as I did R&B pop, as much as I did dance hall pop, and then the whole Bollywood scene was always so fascinating to me,
Mhm.
but it always centered around pop music. There was something about, um M I mean, pop music today is a little bit different, but at least when I was growing up, there was something about pop music that was so accessible to everybody, and, um, it just kind of brought people together, right? Like, in one
Right.
universal language, whether it was pop music in English or French or, Hindi or whatever, but there was just something about pop music that seemed to have a depth and carry influence and power and a message, so I was really gravitated towards that. But yeah, I would say those were some of my main influences, and then over through my career too, Sia became a huge one. I love her as a songwriter. And I just keep meeting people that you may never even have heard of, but that are in the industry and maybe more independent artists that are so talented that I just love working with and I'm very inspired by.
Right. So my boy Larry Makins from the Chillin' and Vibing podcast. He told me about you. That's how I learned about you. Shout out to Larry Chillin' and Vibing podcast.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Yeah,
How
shout
do
out.
you
That
get
was a great
discovered?
interview.
Oh yeah. How do you get discovered in the music industry? What was your journey? How do you get discovered?
So I was late to start. I always wanted to do music. Like when I was growing up, I I really leaned on music and writing to help me kind of through life. I always had like these, you know, big emotions that I didn't know what to do with. And I just seemed to like feel things more deeply than most people. And so like music and writing really became my therapy and like my lifeline. And so I always wanted to do music, but I grew up in a South Asian family. And when you
Yeah.
grow up in a South Asian family, there were really only three options: doctor, lawyer, engineer. So I
Right.
also loved school and I loved academics and I loved biology and anatomy and all that stuff. So I actually ventured on to the route of medical school. I did my bachelor's and my master's in physical therapy, and then I was, doing interviews and my MCATs and all that stuff. And I was sitting in a medical school interview that was going really well for a school that I thought I wanted to go to. And partway through the interview, the better and better it was going, funny enough, I just like my heart just all of a sudden sank, and I was getting this like premonition that this was not my journey. And so when I left the interview, I started to visualize my life in like 20 years from now. And on the doctor route, um, I was married and I had kids and I had this like stable job and it was cool, but like there was something inside of me that was missing. Like my spark was gone. My light was kind of gone. And then I envisioned it. I mean, I couldn't really envision it along this music route because I didn't have any idea what that would look like. But I just knew that that was not my path. So when I came back from my interview, I kind of decided like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to somehow figure out how to be in music. There was nobody in my family that was doing music. I had no mentors. I had no like guides or anything. So what I did was I set an intention of like, I'm just going to somehow figure this out. And then I started like, put some posts up on Craigslist. Like, are there any producers looking for singers? Are there any bands looking for singers? Anything like that? And in the meantime, I tried to set up my life in a way that would create some space for this. So at the time I was working like, I don't know, 60 hours a week or more as a physical therapist. And so I quit. Well, I kind of like scaled down my hours in one of my jobs and just rearranged my whole schedule so I could actually have some days off to like look into this and pursue this. And honestly, it's like I manifested it because within 6 weeks of me creating that intention, I was walking out of my building and a guy was walking into the building and we just kind of like nodded at each other, or like we'd sort of seen each other before, and before, you just like nod at somebody, but this time we like nodded. And I don't know, something just prompted me to say like, "Oh, you look tired," which he did. Um and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just coming from the studio, whatever." And like my ears perked up, and I was like, "Studio? What do you do? Who are you?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm a artist manager, and we were just working on some songs or whatever." And I'm like, "Really? I sing?" And he goes, and his ears perked up as soon as I said that, and he was like, "Really? How good are you?" And I was like, I don't know.
Flex
Like,
on it. Flex
how
on
do
it.
you, well, I mean, how do you answer this question? This is coming from somebody who's like never had a lot of self-confidence. So I was just like, what do you mean? Like, compared to who? He's like, I don't know, compared to whoever. So in my head, I'm like trying to do a calculation of like, okay, if Whitney Houston is like a 10 and like I'm trying to like put different singers in different categories. And I'm like, where would I fall? And so he saw me like thinking about it too hard and was like, he was like, okay, well, let's set up a meeting. You can sing for me, and we'll figure it out from there. I'm like, okay. So I think maybe the next day we met in my spot, and he was like, okay, sing. And I was like, okay. So then I sang. I started to sing, "I Will Always Love You," and then he stopped me about 10 seconds in. And I was like, "Oh shit, this is sorry. Oh shoot, this is either
No,
gonna
you
be
good.
really." I was like, "This is gonna be really bad or really good." Because like on American Idol and stuff that had just like um, it was like if they stop you too soon, you're either amazing or you suck. And so he just kind of like looked at me and was like, "Okay, I really like your tone. You're really good. Let's talk." And that's how it started. So I met a manager, and he had a lot of industry contacts and a good network, so we started working together. He started developing me. It was a rocky ride for sure because I was so green, and the way he was used to like building up an artist and like kind of selling them to a label, that kind of part of the industry was done. It was like everything was shifting, so we had a lot of ups and downs, but that was absolutely like my intro into the industry, and I'm so grateful because right away, like all the contacts he had, like I had a single with Chocolair, who's like a legend, a rapper in Canada. And like I grew up listening to him, and all of a sudden I had a song with him in a music video, and it was on Much Music on TV, and then a song with Gypsy. Like it was just crazy. It was like this like whole snowball, but that's how it started.
It's awesome.
Craig,
It
go
was a
ahead with the
ride.
next question. Let me answer something real quick. Go ahead with the next question.
Oh, I gotta be funny with this one. I gotta be funny.
All right.
When it talks about you can, if you could sing and so forth and so on. My first intro to you was on, was it The Seat of Voice? I Can See Your Voice.
I Can See Your Voice, yeah.
Years and years ago. And it's weird because I was telling him, you know how my daughter listened, did I listen? And I was like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. And I was kept reading and I clicked on it. I was like, I remember this. I was like, I was watching it, and I was an avid watcher. Because I like Kim Jong. Dude is just funny. He's funny.
Yeah, Kim Jong is amazing.
Yeah. So I was watching, and I was like, no, she can sing. She can sing.
And you got it. You got it.
Yeah, they were like, nah, yoga. And she talked about her voice, and she talked about her soothe, and it calms her down. I'm like, yeah, that's what yoga does. And so
I
know. I'm like, yo, you're wrong. You're wrong.
I know. So Nicole. I love Nicole. She's amazing, but like she ruined that for me. I was talking to the contestant after, and the contestant was like, "Oh, I totally thought it was you. Like, I totally thought you could sing. I was absolutely gonna pick you." And I was like, "Amazing!" But then she was like, as soon as Nicole said, "Oh, a singer would never say that yoga helps with their breathing for their singing," she was like, "Oh, I figured like Nicole's the expert, so I listened to her." But really, that line, first of all, that line was scripted to me by the producers. But at the same time, like I've had singing teachers tell me that yoga is good for your breathing, which is good for singing, and it's also good for relaxing your body and all that stuff. So I was like, Nicole, what are you doing?
Firefly, let me ask you a question. That's Nicole from 3LW.
Nicole from Pussycat Dolls.
Pussycat Dolls. Okay, my bad.
Yeah. From Pussycat Dolls.
Or something like that.
Scherzinger, yeah. She's epic, and she's got an amazing voice. And the thing was, like, if whoever won the episode was going to get to do a duet with her, and I was like, oh my, and it was Black Velvet, and I was like, oh my God, we would kill that.
I knew I was like, she's gonna be the one. She's gonna be the one. And it kept.
I'm glad you thought so.
Dude was like, nah, she can sing.
D-Ray Davis,
like,
yeah.
I'm like,
D-Ray Davis was he had the guys believed me. It was the girls that were unsure.
But it was funny because the lady who was she was like, yeah, she can't sing. And I look at your face and you're like, yeah, right.
So
you couldn't hide that.
No, we were not supposed to make any facial expressions.
Yeah, you were like, yeah, right. You don't know what you're talking about. And then she started singing, and the girl was like, "Oh God!"
Yeah. It was funny because we were not supposed to make any facial expressions. They had told us, but I was so like, I was like, I don't know. It just hurt me in that moment, and I couldn't hide it. Like sometimes I just can't hide my face. So
nah, your face was
that's so funny.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? I can sing.
That was me trying to be as neutral as possible.
Go ahead, Ernest. I had to get that in. It was just that
was funny.
I know you say you looked up to people like Michael Jackson, Shakira. I was looking at your bio, Sierra. A lot. Who in the game right now do you think that's killing it you would like to work with?
Oh, there's so many people. Oh gosh. Okay. There's a girl named Anissa who is like crossover, like Arabic pop English. Like I love her sound. I love her style. I would love to collaborate with her. There's another girl named Naika. She's another like world pop kind of artist that's coming up major. She's amazing. I would love to collaborate with her at some point if that ever comes up. Obviously somebody like Kendrick is killing it, and I love what he stands for and all the soul that he brings into music. And then I haven't heard too much from him lately, but do you remember Giveon? Like his R&B artist, and his tone is so unique. I loved it so much. So out of like the newer artists, that's kind of who I've been gravitating towards. There's more that I'm probably not thinking of. There's a guy that does like Carnatic vocals, and I want to say Rishi Kumar or something like that. His I forget his name exactly. I'm sorry, but oh my God, he's insane. Like there's just so many insanely talented people right now. I would love to collaborate.
All right. Hey Craig, before you go to you, I'm gonna ask you one more thing real quick.
Go ahead.
You mentioned Kendrick. You from Canada. You live in LA right now.
Hey, I heard it. I kind of backed up, man. You saw his face. You know, I tried not to do the facial thing like you said.
It's funny because Larry asked me this too, and it totally caught me off guard. And I was like, "Don't ask me this. I know what you're about to ask." And you know what?
Kendrick or Drake?
I think they both deserve respect for their contributions to the industry. Like you can't deny that Drake has been a huge musical force coming out of Canada. He's been instrumental in putting Canada on the map, and he's extremely talented. Um, you know, and he even in his acting before, like he's always repped Canada in a way that I really appreciate. And you know, also being Canadian, like we need people to do that, right? So we don't get engulfed by America. But so mad respect to Drake. But from a mission alignment perspective of like why we do music and like what, you know, the message behind it and the energy behind it, like I really gravitate towards Kendrick ever since I first saw him on stage and just saw like the kind of shows he would produce and put together and the passion that he had behind it. I really gravitated towards that. I'm a very like mission oriented creative.
Gotcha.
So for me, like that's why I really align with Kendrick. But Drake deserves his props. And honestly, like this beefing, like I'm all about love and unity and
Right.
Yeah,
togetherness. So like
yeah.
Yeah.
the beefing to me is like unless they're doing it intentionally for the PR, and they're both benefiting from it, okay, cool. But other than that, I just, you know, I just want everybody to get along.
Yeah. Just don't take it too far. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, like have your fun and challenge each other, you know? Like I think that's cool and that's been such a huge part of hip hop, right? But yeah, like taking it too far is just not, I don't know. To me,
What would that look like if they had a on stage together? I mean, what would that look at?
It's
they're
coming.
so they're so different, right? Like Drake is very to me at least, and I'm not like an expert in either one of their catalogs, but
Mhm.
to me, like what I've seen of Drake is that it's very pop. It's very you know, like the lover boy kind of thing, and he
Right.
does his thing and he has his style, whereas Kendrick is soul, you know? Kendrick is soul. Kendrick has a message. Kendrick's trying to like make a statement.
Right.
So I don't really see them on stage together, like in terms of it being like a cohesive match.
Right.
Um, but like I said, I think they both, you know, they do their thing and they deserve their respect in their own rights for what they bring to the table. Not everybody has to fit a mold as an artist,
Right.
right? So
Exactly.
yeah, I respect them both.
Okay. I'm gonna take you back. In your bio, you talked about growing up feeling alone and misunderstood.
Mm.
What did that look like for you? And feel, I should say.
Yeah.
Good question, Craig. I was going to ask
Yeah,
that.
that is a good question, and I'm glad you asked because like I do think that there's so many youth that feel
Mhm.
this way. And
Right.
that's why, you know, I created Firefly World and all the things that I'm doing with the music. Um, I felt like my brain worked differently. Like I just saw the world differently. I felt things differently. Um, like I felt things much deeper than most people, so like nobody really understood like racism really bothers me. Like I don't understand like why is this a phenomenon? Like this
Right.
makes no sense. Like how can we not like somebody else based on their skin color? Like are we going to not like people because of their eye color or their hair color or how tall or short? Like it didn't make any sense and it would really affect me. Or like I don't know, gender inequality or the fact that
Mhm.
people like the whole suicide crisis. I was like,
Right.
I don't understand. Like I thought life was supposed to be a blessing. I
Right.
thought, you know, my parents and my family, I'm so lucky, they're so like pure and innocent and good, and I just assumed everybody was like that. So when I started to grow up and see that the world wasn't like that, or I started to like, you know, eh, kid stuff like being bullied or people being mean to you or like being your friend one day and then not being your friend the other day, I just couldn't fathom it. And to be honest, I still have trouble with that, like the inconsistencies of humanity. And and because it never sat well with me and nobody, I couldn't I couldn't articulate it, I couldn't explain it. It felt like nobody really understood that. So I just felt really like lonely. It's like, especially if like one day somebody can be your friend and another day they can't and you don't know what you did or
Right.
anything like that. And
We
so
all
I
can.
would sit in my room a lot alone and cry and sing and write poetry, and it was the music I was listening to and the artists and the lyrics that I was listening to that I was like, wow, like, when you feel pain in a song from somebody else, I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one that has felt this way. I'm
Right.
not the only one that has felt this heartbroken, whether it be from friendship or whatever. I'm not the only one who's felt like my parents don't get me. But what was interesting is like most people that saw me growing up would never know this because I was always involved in everything. I played a lot of sports, I was in choir, I did well in school, I volunteered a lot. So it looked like I had a lot of friends.
Mhm.
But and it looked like I was really busy, but like I don't know, inside I just felt like I didn't belong. Nobody got me. I kept trying to like just be good enough so people would, get me or like me or whatever. And it just seemed like always out of reach, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
No, I know the feeling.
That
I'm
makes
alone.
totally sense.
I was
I
alone.
yeah.
Let me ask one more thing, Ernest, because we
Oh,
touched
go
on
ahead.
this earlier as it relates to what do you think, blessing or a curse, social media, as it
Mm,
Oh,
relates to bullying?
great question.
Yeah.
Great question. I love this question. I think the more I study about neuroscience and how the brain works, and the more I've seen the how your subconscious mind and social media are analogous, like the way the algorithms work, it's the same. The the more I see that social media is neither a blessing or a curse, it's exactly what you make of it.
right,
The
right,
problem is
right.
Right.
people are not aware, not through any fault of their own, but just because the education hasn't been there, that you control what you see. So, for example,
Exactly.
your brain works in a way, your brain is designed to show you evidence of what you already believe, right? So if you believe the world is a beautiful place, your brain is going to attract your attention to things that show you the world is a beautiful place.
Right.
If you think the world sucks and people suck, your brain is going to focus on things that show you that the world sucks and people sucks. And that's like science. It's actually neuroscience, and I've been reading these books, and it's like fascinating to me that you decide how you see the world. You decide what your reality is, right? Because there's so much going on in the world. There's no way our brains could process everything. Similarly, the social media algorithm, there's like millions and millions and probably billions of pieces of content out there. Your feed can't show you everything. So that's why the algorithm exists to try and help you decide what it is you should be seeing. So if you're giving your attention, or if you like or comment or save or share a piece of content that is all about like, materialism, or like the newest makeup trend or lip fillers or I don't know, hair extensions or whatever, then the algorithm is going to send you more stuff like that because you told it that's what you want to see. If you keep commenting and posting and sharing and putting on your stories all these like political nightmares and controversies from here and all these things that are meant to keep us divided, and then your feed is going to be full of that, so then that's all you think the world is about because your feed and your reality become one, right? But
Mhm.
people forget that there's so much more out there, we're just not seeing it. And I did this experiment with my interns. So I have some interns for Firefly World who are so super cute. And when I first interviewed one of them, she was like, I really don't like social media. It's such a negative place. Like, it just makes me feel bad about myself. I'm like, okay, let's do an experiment. So I had her go through my account and interact with and engage with health influencers, wellness influencers, people spreading positive content. And then, like a few weeks later, we talked about it. I'm like, so how's your experience been? She's like, oh my God, I had no idea there were so many positive people and so much positive content on social media.
It
She's like,
is.
it just never came into my feed. It never came into my purview until I went and looked for it. And then now that's all I see. Right. So
Mhm.
so to answer your question, social media is what you make of it. The problem is we just don't know that, and we don't know how to do that. So part of my mission is to spread that message and that awareness, because whether it's life, whether it's social media, which unfortunately have kind of become one and the same, um, we get to choose and we get to decide, and we are empowered to create our own reality, but it is not in the best interest of, I'm sorry, but corporate America to let us know that.
Right.
I
You're right.
think I think one thing about social media, it makes you look at the mirror, makes you look in the mirror, see yourself, the
Hmm.
reflection of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you the type that like drama, that's all gonna be a news
Yes.
feed, is just drama, straight drama.
Yes.
With
Yes.
me,
Yes.
it's all how you make it. With
Yes.
me, all I do is promote my podcast and my fitness company. That's all I do.
Yeah.
Podcast, fitness company. That's it. But you have people that love to see these fights, just different type of drama type
Yeah.
things, man. That's all they news feed, just drama, drama, drama. So I think it
Yeah.
really peel back, really shows who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
Social
Yeah.
media really showing you, hey man, you a drama queen, drama king, you know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I'm not on social media, but I put time in because I do this. I do the political thing. I do read
Right.
politics. I like to be up on politics, but
Hmm.
there are days that are no politics.
Hmm.
Yeah, I get away from that, and because you can be so entrenched and involved in it that you just be down and angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh
yeah,
my
there are
gosh.
days
Yeah.
that I take off where I don't read anything political.
Yeah. And
There are
that's
days
really
I just want
smart.
to, I just want to
Yeah.
read things that are good,
Yeah.
good feeling. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
I, I
Yeah.
told
Yeah.
you this the other day. I wish there was a podcast or a news channel where it says the good news.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
There is an Instagram channel that I think is called exactly that, like the good news or something
Right.
like that.
Okay.
I do get updates from that. But I think that's a really wise way of using social media. Is like you just got to be aware that it's a tool. It's not your reality. So you
Right.
choose when to turn it on and when to turn it off. You choose what to engage with when, like, because sometimes you want to feel angry about politics and the injustices in the world, and you want to say something about it to feel like you're speaking out against something you believe in. And so as long as you do that by choice and you don't let it overtake your life, then you're using it responsibly, right? Like if we talk about using social media responsibly, I think that's a big part of it. And like you said, uh, it's a mirror, and you get to change what you want to see.
Right.
Like
Right.
you can do it. You can change that algorithm anytime you want. Like I barely see anything political anymore. I don't know what's going on in the pop industry. And
Mhm.
like I specifically have to go look for things now. Like all I see is like wellness quotes and subconscious mindset hacks and just like beautiful things. So now when I open social media, I'm like, this is a beautiful place.
Right.
And I
Right.
make it a mission to, whenever I go on social media, I am gonna go compliment and give love, spread light to as many people as I have time for, whether that be like 3 accounts or 10 accounts. So if I'm scrolling or whatever, it's only with the intention of spreading love. And you know what happens is that comes right back to me.
Yes, indeed.
Now, let me ask you
Great
this.
question.
Tell us about your new single. Tell us about it. Tell us, did
Eh,
you write it? What was the inspiration behind the song? Tell us about
Okay, so I'm gonna go a little deeper with this, and this, okay, so this song I wrote with an incredible producer named Cairo,
it. Okay.
who works with Offstream Music Group, and they do a lot of songs for sync placements.
Mhm.
So we had, this is probably the fourth or fifth, maybe fifth song we'd worked on. And so when I was writing it, like he starts, like, the way we do it, we sit in the studio, he starts producing the beat, and then I sit in the back and I just kind of like start humming ideas and coming up with words and just seeing like the kind of vibe it gives me, right? And so he started producing this, and he was just putting like a Latin spin on it. And I was like, ooh, okay, okay, cool. And I don't speak Spanish fluently. Like I speak French, and I've always tried to learn Spanish. So I speak some, but I don't
Shit,
speak it
I can't
fluently. But
tell
I'm
you look
like,
like you speak Spanish.
I do or I don't.
You look like you speak some Spanish.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
can, and
That's
I,
what my
I
daughter
speak a
said.
little bit.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
my daughter said.
So, but I love languages. Like I've always loved languages. I can sing in like 7 different languages at least, but I
Right.
don't speak all of them fluently. So, and I just love different cultures, and I just love music, and I love the universal language, and I love embracing different cultures. So I was like, okay, this song needs some Spanish in it. So I started with like "Viva la gente, viva el amor," and um, one of my favorite Spanish songs is "Mi Gente" by like J Balvin, and Beyonce even did a remix with it, and
Oh,
Willie Williams, and I love that song. So anyways, the chant just kept coming in my mind like "Viva la gente, viva el amor," and I was like, okay, so long live, people and humanity, long live love. I was like, okay, the start of something. And then I don't know, I just started like between Google Translate and the little that I knew, like I just started putting together lyrics and the melody, and he was loving it. And the thing is, I hadn't intentionally been writing it for myself because we were writing it for sync. So I was like, maybe somebody else will sing it, or maybe I'll sing it and nobody will ever know it's me, because at the time I was still using like my name as my stage name. So anyways, this was like a few years ago, and the song came out great. I sent it to one of my other artist friends who is Mexican and like knows Spanish properly, and I was like, could you just double check all this? And he was like, yeah, most of it's actually pretty good. And he made, made a few corrections in that, and then we finished the song and it was great, and it was sitting there. And now I'm like not at this time I'm not like releasing a lot of music because I know my branding is just not on point yet. Like I haven't found my sound, I haven't found my the right image. And um I was waiting. I didn't want to like waste these amazing songs when I'm not ready. So fast forward like maybe 3 years,
Mhm.
I'm debating a rebrand. And
Mhm.
I'm thinking like I really, really want to release this song because everybody that's heard it thinks it's like one of my strongest songs. Like you sound great, the song is great, the production is amazing, like it's a straight hit. And so I was like, okay, but how am I going to release this song like as an Indian girl? People are gonna like really hate on that. And I was like, okay, well, at the time I'm considering a rebrand. And so this song was a huge part of my decision to rebrand to Firefly, which was like the idea of rebranding to Firefly and away from Farah was that it's still me. Like Firefly is still me. It embodies everything that I am, but it's like my higher self. And it's like, but it's not about me as an individual. It's about the light that we all have in each other. Like we all share, like the light that we all have and that we share, and that I is my mission to elevate and ignite. Like my whole mission with everything that I do is to just help people shine as the brightest version of themselves, because every day that's what I do is I just try to shine as the brightest version of myself in the world that's trying to like push us down, create darkness. So it just became so obvious and it clicked, and I was like, okay, I could release this song under the name Firefly,
Right.
because I knew I had songs coming out like Breathing Without You that had a little bit of Hindi in it, or Shine that's, all in English but has like a little Afrobeat thing to it, or I just knew I knew I was going to be playing with languages. I knew I was going to be playing with different um genres and cultures, and I wanted to do this world pop thing but not be boxed into to something.
Right.
So this idea of Firefly came out, and then now this is I think the fifth song I've released under this branding, and it's just so fun. Like it's very fun loving, it's very like high vibrational frequency. The lyrics are just like, I haven't written like a party song in a while. They've all been like really deep, coming out of the
Yeah. Yeah.
darkness into the light. So this is like the first one in a while that's just about love and life and dancing all night long, and just being together. And like the song really gives me the sense of like a street festival. So at some point I'll do the music video, and I just want it to be like a street festival where everybody with all different races, all different ages, all different sizes and cultures and backgrounds can just be together and dance and love each other.
I can see.
and
I can see that.
and
I can
so
see
that's
that.
that's like, that's the vision behind it, and that's the
Right.
feeling I get from it. So I think it's a great song. I'm so glad people are liking it. And I just hope it can spread and fulfill the mission of uniting us through music and dance.
So
Yeah.
right now you killing the music. You can kill the music game. I see it. You're very
Thank
talented.
you. Thank
Great
you.
voice. Well, what made you get into acting? What
Mm.
what what inspired that?
So I was acting as a kid. I
Okay.
would do plays and I did
All right.
like drama camps that my mom would put me in. I was just never allowed to do any of this like as a career, you
All
know?
right.
So when I started doing music, um, I was living in Toronto, and I'm trying to remember why, but I took a few acting classes. Like I must have come across somebody, it'll hit me I'm sure later. But like I must have crossed somebody who recommended these like acting classes with it was called Sears in Switzer, and I went to like one workshop and I loved them. They were so great. I did like a commercial workshop. I think somebody must have told me like you'd be great in commercials. Like you have really positive energy in general, and that's what
Right.
commercials are looking for. So I'm like, cool. So I took a commercial workshop, and then I took a voiceover workshop. Somebody had also said you'd be great in voiceover because you have a nice voice. Cool. I did a voiceover workshop, and then I did their film and TV class. Like it was like a full class. And I loved it. I loved it. I love, like, for me, acting is a very spiritual experience. Music as well. Like all these creative things. I'm about to get real deep. Is that okay?
Go ahead, do it. Hey, this is what we're here
Please.
for.
So, creativity for me, and I believe we all have it, when we express and play with our creativity, that to me is like one of the deepest forms of prayer and connection with our creator.
Mhm.
Because as we empty our minds and empty our bodies and allow the inspiration, allow the messages, allow the downloads, we're channeling the creator. So the God within us, or whatever, the higher power within us, the universe within us, whatever you want to call it, when you're accessing that energy, you are aligned and connected to your creator. So for me, all of these creative endeavors, writing, singing, performing, acting, are all spiritual acts, which make me feel light and free and flowy, and like this is what life is about. So acting for me, like the idea of emptying yourself and then embodying another character, still with like what you bring to the character, but telling a story. And I'm still trying to master the craft. Like I'm still a baby when it comes to acting, and luckily people thought I was kind of good. So I have a long way to go to master it. But being able to play these different characters, and especially that first big thing I did, the Slam Dunk Sahaj, the basketball film. I mean, it's just such a wonderful story. Like I love that director, and I love what she does, Assis Sethi. Like she's really telling powerful stories, and I was just so honored to be a part of that, about women in sports and family support when it comes to careers that are outside the norm, or when you have a family. um and then lately, the TV show that hasn't come out yet, called Whipped Cream, that we've shot 2 seasons for, like, again, just like it's a fun story where my character Rika, like she's just going through this really really kind of tough identity crisis of trying to figure out who she is, and how to bring that out into her craft, because she's a baker. Meanwhile, there's so much chaos going around her, and I'm like, I can really relate to this. Like both of these characters, that I played in like these kind of bigger roles, like I can really relate to and bring a part of my story into them. And I just think that that's really powerful, because you know, music and entertainment and media are such powerful forms of influence,
Right,
and we can either use that power for good, or we can use it for, lack of a better term, evil.
right,
And I just want to be a part of using that influence for good,
right,
telling a fun story, letting people in on the nuances and complexities of life, and knowing that it's okay to be how you are, and making people laugh, because the Whipped Cream is a dramedy, and I'd never done a comedy before, so I was like, this is going to be fun, it's going to be an adventure. So that's how, like, I got into acting a long time ago. It's only recently that um anything's really like come of it, and that's because people found me. Like I haven't been actively pursuing it. So it just feels like all of these projects that I've done have just kind of fallen into my lap for a reason, and it keeps life interesting, because music isn't always like a very steady, consistent, and the industry's been changing so much, right? Like, so having these like acting gigs thrown in there, it keeps life interesting, and it allows me to use the full spectrum of my gifts, I guess.
Mhm.
go ahead, Chris.
I apologize. I had to get up and walk. Ernest, no, I just had knee replacement
Me too.
surgery, and
Yeah,
like you
Oh,
said, I deal with the therapist, but I had to get up. It started burning a little bit, so I had to get up and walk a little bit.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm only a month out, so
Wow. Yeah, you
yes,
got to get that synovial fluid moving. Like I
yeah,
said, my background's in physical therapy, so I know what you're saying. And
exactly.
good
So
for you for listening to your body.
I go tomorrow. I twice a week physical therapy, but I also do
Yeah.
stuff here because I have a background in exercise science
Oh,
myself.
nice. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so
All right.
you
As
know.
far as well, we can get into that. Medicine being a substrate to where you are now in music.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Parallel, meaning healing. And I was telling Ernest
Mm-hmm.
earlier that I was in the hospital. I had bacterial infection. It happens
Mm,
with knee replacement surgery. And the thing that helped a lot outside of medicine, it only helped for a little while, but when I put spiritual music on, as you said, bringing
mm.
that energy in, that helped so much. And then there were times where I would call my sisters to pray during the middle of the night and so forth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But again,
yeah.
I want you to elaborate on that, how medicine, how it brought you to that music and healing.
Such a great question. And nobody's ever worded it in this way like you just did. Um, but I think what you said, like it really all boils down to, I think my soul mission, like the reason my soul is on this earth is as a healer.
Right.
And if I think about the roller coaster of my life and all
Mhm.
the things that I've been through, it's like first I had to heal myself and learn how to heal myself in healthy ways because there are people that I started in the industry with that have, long gone or turned to very unhealthy ways of coping. And so like I feel like life has just tested me and tested me and tested me so that it would push me to find all of these beautiful spiritual healthy emotional coping tools, right? So I had to do a lot of, and I still have to do a lot of self healing. And it just got to a point where, I mean, even why I wanted to do medicine or like why I wanted to do anything. I think my mom thought I was going to be a teacher for a long time because I just loved to consume information and then share it.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm healing and I'm having these like massive epiphanies, I'm like, I can't keep this to myself. Like I want to share it, right? And
Right.
and this is why Michael was one of my idols because you write a song like Heal the World.
Mm-hmm.
You write a song like Man in the Mirror.
Right.
Right.
And
Right.
it just taught me from when I was like a child that like you can heal people in more than one way. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can heal people through more than just medicine and being a doctor and physical therapy. Like you can really heal a lot of people at once with music. If
Right.
people respect you and are willing to listen to what you say or even have no idea who you are, but like the song, every lyric that we are ingesting, like our subconscious minds are grasping onto them. And that's what like people today don't know, especially youth don't know. Like what you're listening to becomes your reality because
Talked about it.
imagine like you're listening in headphones too, right? And like what is the proximity then of these lyrics to your brain, right? And it's all getting ingested, it's all getting digested, and that is then becoming your belief system whether you know it or not. It's happening subconsciously. And then your subconscious mind runs your life. It literally runs your life and shows your reality. So this whole learning journey that I've been on from medicine, and I've never stopped loving it, and now it just kind of manifests as like my love for neuroscience and like health, health and wellness and fitness and all of that is just like kind of evolved into that like natural side of medicine. um and then but that ties into music because it's like through music I'm hoping to share this knowledge and
Mhm.
share these messages. So like I wrote a devotion. So I started Firefly World as an empowerment brand. Under that, I wrote a whole what I would call like a devotional spiritual world pop album. And writing the album was healing for me. Listening to the album is healing for me. Um it's a form of prayer and like it's just like all these beautiful messages I want to put out into the world that have helped me heal or like even my singles as Firefly, like whether it's Breathing Without You or Falling Into Me or Beautiful Mess or Toda la Noche, it's like I just want to add good energy in the world. I want to give people an option of like, okay, if you're kind of tired of listening to things that are not healthy for you, come into Firefly world, like come into my little world here, and I will give you things that are good for you, that will
Yeah.
make you feel better about yourself, that will help you cope with difficult times, and that you're not alone. But like, Breathing Without You, for example, is like it's about a really even Falling Into Me, like there's about really tough times, or even Shine, like all of
Right.
them are about like really tough times I've been through in my life. But at the end of the day, I got through it. And I
Mhm.
needed to hear that on repeat to remind myself that I can breathe without you, or that I can shine through the darkness, or that I'm a beautiful mess and I'm perfectly imperfect, or I can dance all night long. And so I think that's how the connection has been made over time, over so many years, and like how the transition, but it's still very authentically me as a healer of myself and hopefully others. I don't know if that answers your question, but hopefully it
Yeah,
does.
it does. And I'm rolled right into it. Stories of was it love and loss,
Mm.
breathing without you, healing without you, someone being beautifully replaced. Now, I'm not trying to get in your business. I'm not trying to say that it was written about somebody.
We want to know what been going on.
I just want to know what was going
People
on.
want to know.
And it's funny because I've done it when I was doing content for that song, I was really debating how much of my life to put out there.
Right.
Um, because it absolutely was about somebody and about an experience. And,
Okay.
I try to have like I want to have enough respect for people that have been in my life, no matter what they did, um, and their families, and then also like my family and all that stuff to like not like name drop or try to make it
Right.
too specific. But I got into a relationship that I thought was going to be the one,
Mhm.
and all signs were like for me pointing to that, m- potentially naively, and shifted my whole life around at the time to accommodate this. And I was so convinced. I think that the worst part of it is I was so convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that this was it.
Mhm.
Right.
um but when we finally like moved in together and we're like taking things to the next level and all of that, it just completely fell apart. Like he lied, he cheated on me, and then lied about that, and then there was like
Right.
it was such a mess. And then I was just left empty and broken. And I went from being like, this person is my best friend, like this person is my best friend, this person is someone I thought I was going to marry and spend the rest of my life with, and all of these things, to I like, you've broken my trust not just in you but in me. That was the worst part,
Mhm.
because I since then it's been really hard to trust myself even, right? So we didn't talk much after the whole incident. So that song was more about me telling me I could breathe without you, because there
Right.
was a good, I want to say almost 2 months where I was like, okay, I used to be a happy person and now I'm just going to be a sad person. It just is what
Right.
it is. Like couldn't
Right.
see the light at the end of the tunnel, and every day I was just in more and more pain. And then I went to therapy, which was a beautiful blessing, because I learned about like attachment styles and relationship psychology and all these things. And I could forgive him, and I could see like where it was all coming from within, what my part of the situation was, what his part of the situation was. And um it all ended, it ended up me moving to LA, and all these wonderful things came out of it. But like in those like 2 months, I was dark. I was a whole different person. And I just needed to make a statement more for myself than anything, that I could move on and I could live again and I could breathe again. And um I was a queen. No matter what anyone did to me, or however anyone treated me, like I had to remind myself I was a queen. Because in those situations, no matter what anybody tells you, you don't believe it. You're
Right.
like, well, if I was so good, then why would they cheat on me? If I was so pretty, or if I was so nice, or if I was so like, if I was a queen, why would somebody do that? Right. And so, like, I was just broken down to like my core, I think, my self-esteem, everything. And this was like my comeback of, okay. It was months later that I wrote it, probably 7 or 8 months later, when I'd started to feel a little bit like myself again. But you go through the stages of grief, right? So I must have
Right.
been in the
Right.
stage of anger at that time. But again, I wanted to put that spin on it, like, because people have been through this. Like, I know I'm not the only one who's been through this in
Mhm.
whatever form it looked like. Um, that another being can't hold you back unless you let them.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was just making that statement of like, okay, I'm ready. I can be that queen again. I can believe it again. I can start to believe it again. And then the more all of these songs are designed that the more you listen to it, the more you believe it.
Hmm.
So you may not believe it the first time, but after you listen to it like 20, 30, 40 times. Hopefully
Subconsciously.
now,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's supposed to be therapy, you
Mhm.
know, that now you believe it, and that it's like affirmations, right? Like all of these songs are in one way, shape, or form supposed to be affirmations.
Some of
So
the
yeah,
greatest songs are created from a personal heartbreak.
yeah, I think some of the best ones are because and if you're somebody like me that just needs to cope in certain ways, like, and this is where I said, like, I feel like I'm so different. Like if I hold everything in, I suffocate and I feel really uncomfortable. So for me, this is like the energetic release of my situations. Um and I think a lot of creatives do that, right? Like this is just our language that we speak to emotionally process things. And I have a ton of songs that are sitting there that I never released that I wrote around this whole situation.
Right.
But so then you start the business part. It's like which ones should people actually hear?
Right.
But it all starts, at least for me, most of the songs that I write have started from some sort of like, I need to process this,
Right.
Mhm.
and this is how I'm processing.
Now, when you started, obviously, you said it was late for you, um, by standards that people put out there. Um, but speak to the pressures that you said that were amplified during that
Mm,
process of trying to be in the music industry, the anxiety,
yeah.
things of that nature. Because there's a lot of people out there that would love to get in, but they don't believe in themselves, or there's
Hmm.
things that's holding them back. That you may be able to speak to that you went through.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know.
So for me, the first barrier for me was I didn't really have any support to get
Mhm.
into it. There was nobody that was like, "Oh, you should definitely do this." It was actually more like, "You I should definitely not do this."
Mhm.
Um, so that was the first barrier I had to overcome, which is why, I lived my life, I did my degrees, I, worked, and I realized I was not happy doing what I was doing. Now, I think that there's so many different paths that people could follow, right? And people, especially younger people, ask me all the time, should I get into the music industry or should I get into the acting industry? And I always say, it really depends on your personality and your constitution,
Mhm.
because there are people that love music and love singing and love writing, but their constitution and personality would not thrive in the uncertainty of the industry.
Right.
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 And then there's some people like me that thrive under freedom. And I wouldn't say I thrive in uncertainty, but I thrive with freedom as opposed to like a 9 to 5. My sister and I are very different. And like, had she tried to take my life and had I tried to take her life, because our personalities are so different, we would both have been miserable. So when I tried the other life, I was miserable. I was tired. I was exhausted. I was just not myself. When I'm in this life, I'm certainly not as like stable in a lot of ways that I would want to be, but my spirit gets to be free and my
Right.
soul gets to be free and I get to be creative and like all the things that I need to have good mental health, let's say.
Right.
um Not everybody's like that, no matter how much you love the craft. So now I will absolutely tell people, do not do this, do not put yourself through this if you do not love it more than any other option you have.
Right.
So some people, this was their only option. Like I know artists that have said, I was only good at music and that's the only option I had. Cool. But I, like, for me, like, I could have been a doctor, I could have been an athlete if I put more time into it, I could have been a singer, I could have been a lawyer or whatever. Like there was a lot of options that I had given how I was raised. um but this path is the one that opened itself up to me and was where I felt the most alive. And for me, part of my value, like, it also comes down to what your values are. If your values are like money and stability and certainty and all that, like, do not do this.
Right.
It's
Right.
not for you. No matter how good you are at it, no matter how much you love it, it's not for you. If your values are freedom and creativity and aliveness and adventure, then absolutely, this is worth a shot.
Right.
And I've come up many times in my career, like, should I still be doing this? And not even just myself asked, but like other people, like, when are you gonna give this up? Like, when are you gonna you know, do a normal job, like, you know, the cliche, like, when are you going to get a normal job? When are you going to, like, when will you be satisfied that this was enough and like you can go back to something else? And I ask myself that too a lot, especially when it gets hard, because especially as the industry's been changing, like, it's not really all about the song anymore. It's not really about the quality of the music anymore. It's about, you know, a lot of it, especially, and again, it really depends on what genre you're in and what your niche is. But a lot of it in the pop industry is like, who's the prettiest and who's the flashiest and who's the most daring and who's
Yeah,
the
we were just
most
talking about that.
bold and who's
Yeah.
the most, like, who's willing to take their clothes off and be the
Yeah.
most outrageous, you know? And that was never going to be me. So like I had to come to terms with like, okay, well, that's the niche I've chosen. That's the genre I've chosen. So I just have to maybe accept the fact that I might not make it to the top of where I would want to, because I'm not willing to do certain things that are outside of my values. And I'm already in so deep, like, I'm not going to turn around, but I have started to like pivot into like, okay, what is me? Who, what part of it does fit me? Like, okay, I want to do positivity, I want to do empowerment, I want to do healing, and I love pop music, so I'm going to put all that together, and whoever it's for, it's for. And
Right.
whoever it's not for, it's not for. And I just keep, you know, grinding and hustling and doing my thing and just seeing where life takes me. But there's been a lot of sacrifices, a lot of sacrifices. And sometimes I wonder, would I do this again? Because you're putting yourself in an industry that's full of narcissists,
Mm.
full of ego.
Mm.
And if you're mentally delicate, it'll destroy you. And so
Right.
like I do question sometimes for certain people, like, don't do that to yourself. Enjoy, like, because you'll stop loving what you got into it for, because there is the whole business aspect of it, right? And there
Right.
is the whole, especially like for me moving from Toronto to LA and like and going all around the world and seeing how the industry works in different places, like, people can be nasty
Yeah.
and people can be beautiful. Like, you can have the most beautiful collaborative experiences, but you can also have the worst experiences. And if you're not built for that, or if you just don't want to deal with that, which I would never judge anybody for, like, I don't want people to feel like you don't love it enough if you don't want to be a part of the industry.
Right.
And again, the industry keeps changing and changing and changing. So it's like so inconsistent. Like, if you want to keep loving music and it, then you may want to deeply consider not doing it. But if you feel in your core, in your soul, you have a message and you have a purpose and you have the gift and you have the work ethic and you're willing to make the sacrifices, um and it's the option you love most out of all your options, then do it, try it, see how it goes. Like, you're not married to it, like, especially for kids nowadays. Like, I love the parents that are willing to kind of set a boundary, you know, like,
Mhm.
go ahead and try it, like, explore it, see how you like it, and like just like slowly introducing them to the industry in different phases, because we've all seen what happens to certain, especially young people that have gotten in and gotten swallowed by it, right? And like, you ask them, was the fame worth it? Was the money worth it? Like, you lost your whole life, you lost your mental health, you lost so many things. Like, was it worth it? Sometimes like, the way media and entertainment is built, it's like they make it seem like it is worth it because like fame and money is everything, but like, it's so not. Like, that's just a perception we're taught to believe so that we can be influenced. But if you're not doing it for the love of the the game, but also the love of the art, I would highly recommend you just don't. There's way easier ways to make money
And
and to be famous, you know, like, this is it's just not for everybody, which
yeah,
I think is true of any profession.
we talked about that earlier. Ernest and I did. We were talking about the different genres. There is there are people out there like myself, Ernest, and people who actually get to listen, because I put your songs out to certain people and they're like, oh my God, I love that.
Right.
But they're not it's not played as much. What's mainstream is, oh, I want to, I don't want to.
It's not ratchet. It's not
Yeah.
ratchet. That's why it's not
Yeah.
being played. Ratchet is
so-
being played on the
But-
airway.
They love the music when they
Right.
hear it, but it's
Yeah.
not on the airway as much. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
you give them a taste of it, oh man, it's a message in that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. It's beautiful music, man.
But what's mainstream is there's no message in it, but I want to take you to bed. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Or
saying?
WAP, you know?
Right, right.
And that's just
Yeah,
not who I'm ever gonna be. And so,
right,
like I said, like I came to a point where I had to surrender to the fact that like maybe one day what's popular in pop will be positive and empowering, and don't get me wrong, there are some amazing artists that have come through and done things like that, like Katy Perry, like Taylor Swift, like Zara Larson, like Sia even, you know, and like that's why Sia became such a, or like Alicia, like that's why Sia and Alicia became such huge um role models for me, because Sia writes a song like Unstoppable, or Alicia writes a song like Girl on Fire, and like these some of these tracks do make it through.
right, right,
But you know, for me, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And I had to really commit to doing it because I loved it and because I felt like it's why I'm on this earth. Like it is my purpose, more than anything else that I could have done. um and thank you for sharing it with people. I really appreciate that. Like anybody that does share it and tries to get it out there because you believe in it, like I that means so much to me. And I
Mhm.
just hope that whoever, at the end of the day, I had to come to terms with like whoever needs it will hopefully find it.
Right.
And I just want to be proud of the legacy that I leave behind,
Mhm.
whether that's touching 5 people or 5 million people. I
right,
hope it can get to be to 5 million people, because I think what I'm doing can be really helpful to, like, you know, the levels of anxiety and depression and insecurities and all the stuff that I went through. Like
right,
I think this can really help. And you know, I try to package it in a fun pop music kind of style that you can still dance to, or that you can sing along, you know, that sounds like your favorite artists, but like it just has a different message that's healthy for you. And I hope that one day it, you know, it'll find its light in the way that it should, and I'm just going to keep trying, hopefully, until that day, because
Please, please do.
it's like it's not even a choice for me. It's like it's just something that I have to do, if that
right.
makes sense.
It does.
Firefly, tell the people how they can get it, find your music, what app is it on, how they can locate your movies. Let the
Oh
people
yeah,
know.
okay. So for the acting stuff, right now everything is in Canada. So Slam Dunk Sahej is on CBC Gem. Um It's not available in America yet. They're trying to turn it
Okay.
into a feature film, so hopefully they can, and that'll be available everywhere.
Okay.
Whipped Cream also is gonna be on the TLN network in Canada. Um, it may end up streaming on a channel, and if it does, like, just follow me on Instagram, or even better, like, join my newsletter, because then I'll keep everybody updated as things unfold. But yeah, the best, I'm really trying to focus on Instagram right now. It's, like, my favorite platform, more so than TikTok, and, you know, I'll probably start releasing way more stuff on YouTube as well. But, like, yeah, Instagram is the best thing. My handle is at Firefly Now.
Okay.
And then my website, like, so joining my newsletter, like, that's where I'll do like giveaways, or like, you know, more behind the scenes stuff. And if social media ever implodes, then I can still communicate with you. So joining my newsletter, you go to my website, iamfirefly.com, and then there's a place to sign up there. And so yeah, I would love that, because I'm starting to like come out with merch, and I'm doing a lot of these like Firefly World gigs. So um I would love to keep people updated, but like yeah, there's a link tree link on my Instagram that will have everything. It'll have the devotional album and all the Firefly World stuff, and it all has my stuff too. So if you're looking on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, like all the links will be there. But the best way, like if you're just looking on your favorite streaming platform, is to type in Firefly and Shine.
Gotcha.
Because if you type in just Firefly, like there's a lot of things that show
Yeah,
up.
there's a lot
But
of
if you,
things.
A lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
things
I
that come
noticed
up.
that. Yeah.
yeah. So I always tell people, like, look up Firefly and the song Shine, and then that'll take you to my
Yeah.
page. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that I can leave a positive impact on people and on the world, and that'll, like, whenever I come to whatever my last breath is, like, that's what's gonna make me feel like I did my job while I was here.
Right.
So I really, really appreciate people like you helping me spread that and share that, and just like introducing me to a whole new set of people. So thank you so much, so much for having me here.
All right,
Indeed.
Middle Experience family. Make sure you check it out, man. Firefly. What you got, Craig?
Yeah.
Hey, I am so proud. I'm so happy to speak to you. Your aura, I mean, it is amazing. I
Thank
feel
you.
uplifted. I don't even feel the
Good.
pain in my leg anymore. I,
Good. All that Firefly energy.
The energy is just amazing. And
thank you.
I wish you the best. I am going to continue to spread your music because I believe it is beautiful. It has a message.
Thank you.
That's never going to stop. I was bumping it today in my Range Rover.
Yeah, thank you. Yay. I appreciate that so much. I really do, because it just means that like everything that I've been working towards and all the struggles and everything are worth it. Like, you know, for you to say something like that, that it makes you feel enlightened or empowered in any way, or your daughter, like you were telling me, like it makes it all worth it. Indeed. When I hear things like that. But yeah, shout out to the Miller Experience, and thank you so much, both of you. Really, it's been great talking to you.
I appreciate you, Queen. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you check out the most talented artists out there, Firefly. Peace. Hey, Firefly, don't get off real quick. I'm gonna ask you something.
Okay.